Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries, and this is John here. I'm just here with a quick video response to Caius's video. Is the RPG Brigade good for players? Now, forgive the lighting not being ideal. It's early in the morning. I'm literally just about to go on holiday in about half an hour, so I'll be away from the internet for about a week. But I've finally, while I'm just killing a bit of time, having got all my packing done, got around to watching some of the videos that I'd tagged in my ever-growing watch later list. And Caius posted up a very interesting video. I believe it was back in February, so I apologise for the late response. Meant to get to it earlier, didn't get to it, you know how things are. But he asked the question, is the RPG Brigade good for players? And as Caius said, like him, I'm a member of the RPG Brigade, and I'm very happy to be so. It's a very enthusiastic group of people on Facebook, for those who don't know it, who are involved in this great hobby of RPGs that we do. But as Caius said, a lot of us, myself included, on the RPG Brigade are primarily GMs. And I think Caius nails in his video why this is the reason. GMs put a lot of work and a lot of effort into running games. And when you put a lot of effort into something, you want to talk about it with other people. We all know the stereotype of the person who does roleplay games and wants to tell everyone about the 15th level warrior who killed the Lich King and stole the treasure and blah blah blah. And GMs are no exception, although it's instead of being the exploits of one character, it tends to be, oh, I ran this great campaign, or I'm thinking of doing this, what do other people think? And there's a lot of those sort of conversations going on. But I do think Caius makes a very good point that if you are a GM and you're solely a GM, you can sort of lose sight of what it's like to be a player in an RPG. And I'll quite happily admit that I was like this myself for many years. I was mainly GMing since I was the one who had the books, and I never really got a chance to play. Now, happily for me, this has changed in recent years, especially since getting more involved in online gaming. I've been able to play in more games that people are running. I'm playing in a couple of great Star Wars campaigns I've played in. I've played in a lot of one-shots. Lloyd runs a load of one-shots of various different crazy systems that I always enjoy playing with. And on the odd occasion, I have a bit of free time, because that's the other thing as a GM. If you spend all this time prepping for games and getting ready for them, it doesn't leave you a lot of time to actually just kick back and go, oh, do you know what, I'm just going to play a game. But when I do, I'm lucky that we've got this large pool of people who run games online where I can occasionally jump into a game, and I very much enjoy doing so. But I think as someone who is primarily a GM, it does change your perspective on the game. And I think Caius is entirely right in that regard. Since even when you're playing games, certainly when I'm playing a game, you always have that sort of GM mindset in the back of your mind. Now, that can be a bad thing, because you can be critical of people's games, maybe not necessarily in such a constructive way, although I always try and be constructive in my criticism. But you can also be playing a game and you're not really present in the moment of the game, because in the back of your mind you're thinking, oh well, if I was GMing this game, I'd have been doing it differently. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because when you're thinking about ideas, you might see something that you can take and you can use in your own games. But I think it is very necessary as a GM to play in as many games as you possibly can, because as Caius rightly said, you can lose sight of the sort of things that interest players, the sort of things that are going to capture their interest and really draw them into a game. So, although I don't think you ever really lose that GM mindset, I think it is good to play games as much as you possibly can. And it's not easy. We've all got demands on our time, especially if you're running campaigns, which can take an awful lot of work to do. Even one-shots can take a fair bit of prep, depending on what your GMing style is. But I do agree with the core concept of Caius's video that you should try and play games as much as possible. But as to the case of whether the Brigade is good for players, I think it is, because it lets you see how GMs are thinking about games, their thought processes, and also there are a lot of players on there as well. Now, as Caius said, the majority of posts may be from GMs or people talking about running games, but I don't think that's 100% the case. And I'd certainly encourage any people who are predominantly players on there to get involved with discussions. You may have a different perspective to GMs, people who are primarily GMs, but that doesn't necessarily make the perspective wrong or worse in any way. It just makes it different. And the more different viewpoints we get of something, as long as they're presented in a sort of constructive and sort of fairly articulate way, and you don't mind people having a bit of a discussion with you, then I think you'll get on fine in the RPG Brigade. I'm not saying the group's entirely troll free, because it's not. Nowhere on the internet is. Inevitably, wherever you post something, even if it's just a simple question like, oh, I'm thinking of I'm facing some orcs in a campaign that my GM's running. Oh, I'm not sure what I should do about it. Inevitably, you'll get some person who'll come on and be like, oh, well, you shouldn't be facing orcs are shit, or something ridiculous like that, which has nothing to do with the question. That's going to happen wherever you post on the internet. It's a fact of life. I don't like it, but there you go. That's how it is. The vast majority of people on the RPG Brigade, though, if you genuinely want to have a conversation with them and you're willing to have a bit of give and take, you'll get a lot out of the group from both GMs and players. It may throw up some things you hadn't thought of, and hopefully you'll get a lot out of it. So even if you're predominantly a player, which is no bad thing, I'd encourage you to get involved and converse with the people on the RPG Brigade. After all, a roleplay game relies on both GMs and players working together to make it work. So there's my quick video response to Caius's video. I apologise for the lighting level. Like I say, it's first thing in the morning just from about to go on holiday, so it's not ideal. And this is a pretty quick and dirty video as far as I'm concerned, with like none of my usual planning or sort of editing or anything like that. But I hope it's answered your question, Caius, and maybe we'll get a few more video responses. Here's hoping. I'll catch you all next time. Take care and happy gaming.